What's going on, guys? MMuniz here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm super excited to show you guys our newly updated basement, office, studio, whatever you want to call it. Now, if you've been subscribed to the channel, you may have noticed that I didn't do a video last week. That's because we ran into some complications when we were putting the finishing touches on this new office. Now, we've been on a real time constraint because a lot of stuff changing in our near future. So we had to get this done pretty fast. So in this video, I'm gonna give you a tour of my new studio or entertainment area. And then because this video is mostly about finance, we're gonna break down the cost of everything. We're gonna go over how much time it took me to go from this to this. And we're also going to talk about how I saved money and how much I saved and what were my total expenses. Now, I will say that the office is only 90% done. There's still a couple things we're waiting on. One of them being a kit of baseboards to finish around the room. And then also, you're going to notice it's really plain. I've got to put some character. We need some style in this room. But I haven't quite figured out what theme I want to go with. So I've thought about maybe doing some Peaky Blinders stuff or maybe a Lord of the Rings theme. I'm pretty much a super nerd, so Harry Potter, anything along those lines I'd be happy with. This is my 9 to 5 work area. This is my YouTube area, and then it's also my relaxation area where I just want to game or watch TV, anything along those lines. So while you're watching the video, if you think of anything that might help out or might be a good addition to this office, put it in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. I'm open to all ideas, and honestly, we don't have anything, so the more the merrier. All right, let's get right into it. So the first thing we need to talk about is obviously going to be the workstation. The 9 to 5, the video editing, the gaming PC. Now, I'm not going to go over everything that's in the PC in terms of specs. If you want to see that, just look down in the description below. But essentially, this is where I do all of my work. I spend at least 8, if not more, hours per day sitting in this really old nasty chair, which will be replaced one day. I want my area to look neat. So I did everything I could to wall mount the monitors. Before I started renovating the basement, I made sure that I knew exactly where everything was gonna go so I could run all the wires through the walls. So you actually can't see any wires coming off of the monitors or anything. And then on the bottom, it's kind of hard to see, but you really can't see any wires either. You can see them coming off the PC, but then they all go either behind the PC or they go into the wall. Now, the next thing we're gonna talk about is obviously gonna be the TV. So what we have here is kind of my entertainment area. Now, I tried to keep this as minimal as possible, and the TV that I chose is actually the LG OLED Gallery Edition, 2022 version, 65-inch G2. Best TV that I've ever seen in my life. It's absolutely amazing. It stays about a ½ inch from the wall, and it actually could be completely flush, except I was able to wrap some LEDs around, and I think that that gives it a little bit more pop. Now, I typically watch, Rings of Power, or I do my Xbox gaming on this. Now, you may wonder, why do I need to game on an Xbox when I have a PC? Well, if you've ever been on a PC, then you typically understand that it gets really, really sweaty. You're trying really hard. It gets serious, very competitive. Xbox, you can sit back on the recliner, grab a beer or two, maybe a whiskey or a Manhattan, and just enjoy a nice, big, beautiful picture. Now, I will say, normally I wouldn't spend this much money on a TV, but I got an insane deal on this. I got this TV for almost 70% off. I saved over $2,000. And the only reason that it happened is because I had signed up for a credit card and Best Buy made a mistake. So instead of giving me the TV that I had initially purchased, I was pretty upset. Now, I didn't act upset at all. I treat everyone with respect no matter what. And I just was like, listen, you guys need to help me out. You need to do something for me. Why don't you give me that TV? And it was a TV that was like $1,500 more. And the manager was just like, all right, that's fine. So he actually gave me the TV that I just asked for, essentially. So, awesome customer service, and I got really lucky. Otherwise, the TV down here wouldn't be quite as nice. Now, underneath, kind of a cool story about these is I made these 2 floating shelves, and they're made out of walnut wood, and I used some polyurethane on them, and they were actually in my neighbor's fire pit. He was going to be burning them, and I'm like, no, I'll use those. So I grabbed them from him, set them up. I put a couple Funko Pops on there. I am missing my favorite Funko Pop, which is a Harry Potter Funko Pop, and that is because my 1.5-year-old daughter has recently become obsessed with Harry Potter. Which is awesome actually, because I love reading to her. But yeah, so I'm missing my favorite action figure because my daughter likes it, but at the end of the day, she's more important. We've got the dark walnut barn door sliding. It goes ahead and opens on up into, Alexa, turn on the basement light. It opens up into our laundry area. I got some tools and stuff back there. Not too much. I typically would keep this door closed. The reason that we chose a barn door for this section here is because it gives us a wider opening. It actually gives us an extra 4 inches compared to your normal 36-inch door opening. So if we're coming down here to go through, it's just really easy and really convenient. So now kind of the last corner or thing I want to show you is going to be my recliner and kind of the table along with the bookshelf in the back corner. So when it comes to the recliner, we actually got this for free. It was next to my parents' in-laws at the side of the street. It looked fine. We cleaned it up. Is it perfect? No, but for now it works. I'm not the richest guy in the world, so we didn't have the money right now to buy all new furniture. So right now this is perfect. It allows me to sit down, relax, watch TV and game, and it doesn't look too bad. And I'll tell you, the first time I sat in it, I fell asleep within 10 minutes, and I fell asleep for like 3 hours. So clearly doing its trick. And the last thing I want to go over is just my bookshelf. I'm a big fan of fiction. I'm a huge fan of Terry Brooks' books, Shannara series. I've got a couple of awards from my previous company where I won #1 district manager on the Eastern Coast 3 times in a row, actually. We've got a router, we've got some Harry Potter books, some Narnia books, some Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge whiskey fan, bourbon fan. This was given to me when my daughter was born. Pretty cool. The decanter and crystal glasses were a gift as well, some business books. And then there is no room that does not need an Alexa device. So now let's take a look at the finances. How much did this room cost? Now I will tell you it's going to be long, but I'm going to be as descriptive as possible. And if you guys have any questions, just leave them down in the comment section below. I'll get back to you guys. Let's go. It's not the reason that the majority of you are actually here. Let's take a look at what I actually spent, where I saved money, what I did myself, that kind of stuff. So I have a little spreadsheet here, and it breaks down every portion of this job because as I showed you the before pictures, this was a completely empty basement that was actually an absolute disaster. But at the end of the day, I try to do everything myself with maybe a little bit of help here or there from contractors, depending on the skill needed or required. So for this job, we did quite a bit of planning, okay? We knew exactly what we were going to make. Like I said, we planned ahead of time where everything was going to go. I drew it out on a piece of paper. I actually made a 3D model online as well and really determined where the doors are going to go, how big they're going to be, where all the wires need to be routed through the walls. I had everything pre-ran, the 8K HDMI cards, the Cat 7 cable already pre-ran through all my walls and all my ceiling. Everything was planned ahead of time. So that did take a lot of time, but I like doing that. When it came to the framing, I had to buy a bunch of 2x4 framing. I think like 50 or 60 boards. I think I bought 1 2x6 and then some pressure treated plates because you actually need pressure treated wood to be the base for your framing when you're doing it in a basement because of moisture. And then also insulation. Now insulation helps with sound. And the total cost for that was $309. Not bad. So how long did it take me to install it? Well, it took me 12 hours. It took me a long time because my dad and I would do it together and some of the boards would be warped and we'd start over and it's just a nightmare. Nothing is ever as easy as you might think. So it took us a good amount of time. And also I work full time. So it's not like we just work 12 hours one day. I mean, this was like 4 hours here, 4 hours there. I have to worry about his schedule, my schedule, a lot of teamwork. The next thing, now I like doing this a lot. Electrical. I've learned a lot of electrical this year. I converted my previous service 100 up to a 200 because I had it at a hot tub outside. And I learned a lot doing that. And then I also learned a ton on this job. So we did 250 feet of 12 gauge wire and we also had 12 outlets and boxes. So I wanted to have a lot of outlets. Now, total cost, $247. It took me about 5 hours and I really did like doing this. So not an issue. Now the barn door, which is back there, that was a pain in the butt. That took about 5 hours, and it was just a kit. Like, you would think it would have been easy, right? From Home Depot, but no, it was a pain in the butt. Cost me $427 for the barn door and hardware. Now, I have an interior door, which is on the left. You may have seen it earlier. Dark walnut stain, $315. It was essentially a pine door, pre-hung, and it was ready to stain. And that took me 2 hours, plus an additional 2 hours to stain it. I do not like staining. I like painting, kind of. Don't like staining. Also, we did it in the basement, so it's just, toxic fumes and just no good. Don't want to do that again. Drywall supplies, $69. Tape, mud, finishing mud, and then a vinyl cap for along the ceiling because I actually didn't install a ceiling. I don't know if I want a ceiling yet or not. I'm kind of waiting to see what I want to do. Also, having access to the ceiling allows me to change things in terms of electrical really easily. So I'm holding off on installing a ceiling for the time being. Maybe I'll add one, we'll see. The drywall itself was $249. That was 12 sheets of half-inch moisture-resistant drywall. Once again, basement, you always got to be thinking about moisture. I do have, knock on wood, relatively dry basement, but you can never be too careful. Baseboards. Now, I don't actually have these installed yet, but they are on the way. 3-inch pine and 4-inch pine essentially covers your door trim, your door casing, and then your baseboards. Total install time, I probably spent maybe 20 minutes doing the doors, and then my guess for doing the baseboards around there will be less than 2 hours, so not much time. Now, I did mention up here 1 hour setup for contractor, and I'll go over that in a minute, but flooring, luxury vinyl plank flooring from Home Depot is called LifeProof. Great stuff. It is waterproof. It has its own pad. I bought 200 square feet for a room that is 185 square feet, and it took about 4 hours. Pretty plug and play, pretty easy. Anybody could do it. The only thing I will say is that there was one plank that went around my stairs, and it had like 3 different cuts, and it was angled and freaking nightmare. It took me 1 hour, maybe even more, to do just that one plank. And then out of the 200 others, I was able to get done in, 75% of that time. So ridiculous. Paint, I actually only spent $30 on paint, but this is kind of skewed because I already had wall paint. I had leftover paint from when I painted my house that I used to do down here. And I chose this color because it's a light color. And with all the dark walnut and the dark computer stuff, it made sense to have a lighter flooring and a lighter wall. So I only spent $30, probably about 4 hours painting. And then in general, like I said, I don't like staining. Now, I did hire a contractor to do the drywall finishing. So to hang the drywall and to do the mudding, finishing, I hired someone to do that. The reason is I don't have any experience doing that. We're on a pretty strong time constraint, and I really wanted it to come out nice. This is the room that I'm going to be spending a lot of time in for the next few years, if not more. I don't have time. I really didn't have any room for mistakes, so my father-in-law is a home builder. He had a really good contractor he recommended. The guy came, $600 cash, and did it. It took him 4 days. All in all, it was about 6 hours, so $100 an hour. Definitely worth it. Very happy with how it came out and glad that there were no mistakes made. So in total, I spent just under $3,100, and that does include everything, which I think that's pretty good. The only thing it doesn't include is the TV, but that's not really part of the building the office. That's just an addition, just like I'm not including the cost of my computer and goods like that. So in terms of just the actual framing and finishing the basement, $3,100. In total of DIY, it was sub 40 hours. And then in addition to that, it took me about 5 hours of planning. So a lot of just coming down, standing in an empty basement and just kind of measuring, thinking, where am I going to do certain things? Where's my computer going to be? What am I going to do with this stupid pole in the middle? Stuff like that. But now the juicy stuff. How much did I save? Well, you know me. I love my credit cards, all right? I averaged 6% cash back with a 5% credit card. So whether I was buying stuff from Amazon or I was buying stuff from PayPal and getting a discount via the Chase Freedom, or I was buying, I think my Chase Unlimited card gave me an extra 5% on home improvement stores for the third quarter, which was perfect because everything I bought with that. So in general, I made almost $200 in cashback rewards. Now I also got $150 because randomly Capital One realized I wasn't using their credit card, and they're like, "Hey, if you start using your credit card again, we'll give you $150." So that was a no-brainer. I had to spend $500. But they gave me another $150, so I'm never going to say no to that. They didn't check my credit, nothing. They just gave me $150. Awesome. The next one is I did have a couple coupons here or there. I had a $15 and a $10 coupon for Home Depot, and then I also have a contractor account with Home Depot, and every tier you hit, you end up getting coupons, and one of the tiers I hit was $2,500, so they sent me a $25 coupon. So awesome. But what if I was to hire someone to do this? Well, if I was to hire someone to do this, Maybe I'm naive. I don't know. I don't think it honestly would have came out any better than it did. I am super, super happy with how it looks. But I would have had to pay at least $5,000 more for someone to do this job from start to finish. Just a perfect example is it only took them 6 hours to just hang the drywall and put up the mud, and that was $600 cash. If I could have done that myself, it probably would have taken me, we'll say, 12 hours, but I would have saved $600. So, take in all that other time and all the other people that would be down here touching it, doing that kind of stuff, be pretty expensive. Maybe I even save more. I honestly don't know. But one thing I will say is I used a YouTube channel called Home Renovation Do It Yourself. Awesome YouTube channel. It is linked in the description below. They have all sorts of do-it-yourself remodels, remakes, stuff like that for your home. His YouTube channel is extremely easy to follow. He has all different playlists and stuff. Truly fantastic YouTube channel, and I don't know the guy. I just like his YouTube. The other thing I'm going to say is as long as unless you want to just hire a contractor to do everything, that's completely fine. But if you want to save some money, another cool thing you can do is when you talk to your contractor, you can say, hey, I'm going to buy all the materials. You tell me what you need, give me the list, and I'll handle it. So you can go and buy the materials, unless they get a discount or something, but you can use your credit card and get your reward points. You can also have all the materials ready for them to use. So for instance, with the drywall stuff, when I called the contractor, I'm like, listen, I have all the drywall. I have all the drywall supplies. It's in the basement, ready to go. You don't need to worry about bringing it in or going anywhere. How much money for you to just show up with your tools and install it? So I obviously saved some money because of that, because that saves them time and money as well. So keep that in mind. If you can get everything on site ready for them, that's less time that they have to spend, which saves you money in the end. So that's my office and studio tour. I want to know from you guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. If you're still watching the video and you haven't already, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We do weekly content on anything related to finance or fitness. I'm not gonna lie, I had a blast making this office. I had a great time making this video. So if you guys want more videos on, maybe more descriptive of my desk setup or my gaming setup or anything along those lines, let me know. I'll do my best. And with that said, I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.